we have we have a bunch of we have a bunch of things lined up for today. Before we start, okay, first off, I didn't introduce myself. I am De Lasaki. You might have chatted with me on intercom or Slack or I don't know anywhere else. But yes, I'll be handling this part of the call. We have Samuel on the call already, so shout out to Samuel. Samuel would be um our guest for today. Samuel will be talking about design, presentation, how to communicate your idea, some of the things you should cover in your presentation. But before we do that, we would also be joining um live one of the physical locations that we have where they're also having participating in the hackathon. So we have a branch of Python Nigeria from Anambra State on the call today. So let me just confirm if Anambra State, can you Python Nigeria and Anambra, can you hear me? Can you hear us? Are you there? Okay, while we wait for them to okay. Sorry, there's a feedback from your end. I'm going to unmute you again, but I think you might want to sort that out. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Awesome. Awesome. Good afternoon. It's afternoon already, right? Yes, good afternoon. So yeah, would it be possible to see can you turn on your video? I think it will be interesting to see what the setup looks like over there. But like majority of the people participating in this hackathon are doing so virtually. So from probably their workstations or something, but we have the good people at Python NG partner with us to provide physical like spaces for people in certain states to come physically, right? So yeah, one of those places is in Anambra
You
State.
have to reduce it so that
Can you hear me? Okay. While they are trying to sort that out, we would also have so yeah, the leaderboard has been interesting lately. I've been, I've been popping in and out of the leaderboard to kind of see what's going on, and it's been, in giving. I mean, the whole point of doing the leaderboard initially was always to have a sense of the activity that is going on in the hackathon, since this is largely virtual, right? So it's like, how can we represent what is actually going on, how people are working, what teams are doing, in a way where anybody can come and see. And I think I am right if I say that we succeeded in doing that. So we have a couple of teams that right now, as we speak, they are the top three teams. So we'll be having them join us on this call, and just to hear what they're building. What's their hackathon experience like? What are they doing? What are they doing that other teams are not doing? That they are the top of the what's it called, of the leaderboard, right? Also, I have Timothy on the call now. Timothy, you're going to rate me, and I'm going to let the people listening also rate me because I think I've been doing a good job so far. But I'm not passing the mic to you yet because I was about to have a conversation with Python in Anambra State. Let me just check if they're still on the call. I think they dropped off. Okay, they dropped off. I'm guessing they're having some connection issues right now. Um, okay, let me just give you the mic. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Tim?
I can hear you.
Yeah.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. I know you missed me. I'm back.
Not really. Not really. I must say, not really. We didn't miss you.
But yeah, I think I has done a great job, right? So yeah, at least finally get to see the face behind, the purpose growth account you have been seeing on the Zoom call. So I did get a favor showing the face behind
Wow.
the account. So it's a win-win for both of us. But yeah, I think I had like walk us through what we have been doing today. So I think while we wait for the folks at Anambra to join back in and have a conversation regarding what they are doing right now, the physical hackathon. I think I'll spend the next few minutes having a conversation with Samuel. Thank God we finally have, if I'm the one right now that's presenting the hackathon and the CEO of the company hosting the hackathon is on the call, right? I'll definitely just put on my camera and find a way to nudge him to my direction and just even raise hand, ask questions, drop conversation in chat, the ins and outs of stuff like that. But yeah, I'm super excited to be hosting Samuel, the CEO of HackOps. Amazing work the team is doing in hosting hosting the hackathon. He has sort of experience in design. So he'll be having a conversation with us regarding designing an hackathon. I know we are way past the design stage, which is like the first part when you start doing an hackathon, that'd be an hackathon. But again, there are some things we have to learn on how design plays a big role in hackathon project, and you still have like more like few hours for it to be like one or two stuff in your project, also in your demo, and also even on your presentation, right? So our conversation is centered around design in designing for an hackathon, right? So designing a fast-paced environment whereby you have to ship something out within 2 to 3 days. Then also presentation, how well to be able to package your project. Because if you have attended day one, day two, and day three of the whole office hours, there's one word that keeps ringing: presentation, packaging, telling your story, compelling the people that what judging the hackathon, right? So all this boils down into how your designs look, and also how your demo project and your presentation looks like. So we're having another person that someone the CEO of PipeUps to have this conversation. And if I'm you, I'll definitely just take notes and point out for anything he's saying, because who knows? Maybe that's around what they'll be judging with. So, hi, somewhere, can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, Timothy, I can hear you. Thank you so much for the elaborate intro. Hi, everybody. Good afternoon.
So I got like a couple of questions, right? Before we kind of like open it up for hackers to be able to like ask direct question.
Tim,
You know, the speaker is saying
your audio is
my audio is breaking.
kind of hazy. There's a crack.
Give me a minute. Let me see what's that.
You sound like a robot.
Wow, robots, a minute. Is it better now?
No,
Same thing. Let me like leave and rejoin again and see.
yeah. Apple's growth is
I promise I'm not trying to start anything, but
apparently you also have that issue.
oh yeah, then I think it's you.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
Okay, so hold on.
yeah. Yeah, because I can see from the chat that people are saying they could hear Timothy. Okay, so it's not Timothy. That's fine. Timothy will join us very soon. Timothy will join us very soon. But what? Okay, Timothy, you're back. Apparently, it wasn't from your end. It was Samuel having the issue. So Samuel dropped off the call. But he will join us. He will join us very soon.
Okay, perfect. So I just like wow. So I'm good. So like I was saying earlier on, before I have to drop it to check if it was my issue, right? I was asking Samuel a couple of questions, which I've arranged that cover everything everyone needs to understand regarding presentation and hackathon and also design and hackathon project. So if you have any question while we are going through the whole session, you could just raise your hand or just drop the question at the chat. So while we are done with the conversation I'm having with Samuel, we'll just go to the questions and answer them. Apart from that, I don't know if I have mentioned it before. We're having the top 3 teams at the leaderboard. Come talk to us about their projects, what they are doing, and even how they are currently at that top 3 leaderboard right now. But yeah, so let me see if Summer is back. Hi, Summer, can you hear me? Hi, Summer. I can hear you. Give me a minute. All right. I think while we wait for for Summer to jump in, are the guys from Anambra back?
Yeah, I think I can see the account on the call now. I'll unmute them and see if they can speak to us right now.
Okay.
Hey, yeah. Okay.
Hi, how's it going? Hi, Python Anambra. How's it going? Can you hear me?
Okay, hi. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. How's it going?
It's going well. I'm going well.
Yeah, do you mind show us are people present at the venue right now?
Okay.
I didn't really get my question. Are people currently at the venue right now? Are people up for today or still setting up?
Not so many of us today, due to the sit-at-home situation we have in Southeast. I don't know if you can hear us.
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, I see a couple of folks, I think.
Yes, yes, yes. So some of them have not turned up today, but we are working. Those of us that are present here. About 2 teams are here, and then we are actively working towards our project.
Awesome. Thank you. I think we'll circle back to you later on. But I think Samuel is back. Hi, Samuel, can you hear us now?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you too.
Awesome.
Okay, great. Just perfect. Let me ping. Okay, awesome. So, like I was saying earlier on, I have a couple of questions for you. And after those questions, we'll just circle back to attendees right now and just hackers. And just answer questions from them, both from chat and also from do the hands are up. So yeah, I understand you come from a design background and also leading the team at HackOps and also part of the team making sure this hackathon happen. So I just have the first question I have on my list basically around I was talking to JD Solar, I think that was on Saturday regarding how product managers might not really be important in an hackathon, right? We just kind of one on the sheet, just popular opinion out there. So I'm just circling back that same question to you, right? How important is design in an hackathon project? What overall role does it even play when it comes to evaluation for an hackathon project, right? Does that project really have to have a good design in experience and also an interface? Or we could just, cook up anything and just skate through an hackathon?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, great question. Just confirming again that you can hear me. Are we good?
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. So I think, when people talk about design, I feel like there's like a differentiation between engineering and design. And personally, I don't see it that way, right? In PipeOps, in fact, um, the design team is a part of the engineering team. Yes, we are not writing code, but naturally we are part of the process of visualizing and actualizing features, right? So when if I want to answer that question, how important is design, or what role does it even play basically in what you're building, particularly in the hackathon context, right? It just gives you, it's like that bit that gives you or that facilitates how you express your idea, right? So, you can think of design from a visual, perspective, where you start to think of UI, all of those things, right? And then there's also the experience perspective, right? Where you start to talk about functionality in your interface. And I mean, if you don't have design, how are you going to express your idea? How are you going to? It's it's like that. It's like that interface that you need for whomever it is, whether it's an investor, whether it's a user in particular. Um, it's like that interface through which they can actually experience your solution, your idea. So it is as equal as you actually implementing the solution. In fact, it is a part of the implementation process, right? So, to sum up my answer, I think some of you may already know about design thinking, right? Usually that's what happens even before you start to write code, right? So everything from doing user research, from defining your problem statements, from to actually prototyping the idea, right? All of those things have to happen so you can actually what's the word I want to use, so you can actually articulate what is in your head. So you want to build something, it is design that helps you bring that thing to life first of all, right? It's design that helps you make sense of it first of all. So it's incredibly important. It is a part, it must be a part of the building process.
Awesome. I think that's kind of like connects me back to another question, right? So yeah, we understand that it's important for us to have great design and experience end and also on the interface end on our hackathon projects. So how does that again stand out in terms of presentation, right? Okay, my presentation, like for example, I have great content in my presentation. I have my numbers up, I have problem statement, I have everything regarding my pitch deck is great, my presentation is great. So does design plays a major role again in evaluation of that particular presentation whereby let's say I have my details correct, I have my content correct on the pitch deck, on the presentation, on the demo video, but the design does not look great. Does that still one way or the other lower down my point in terms of evaluation for an hackathon project?
Great question. Right now, just as I said, I want us to look at design as not just colors, right? Not just how beautiful your pitch deck is, for instance, right? The truth is, even your content, the structure of your content is a part of the design, right? Remember I said there's the visual part and then there's the functional part of things, right? Naturally they come together. The best case is you have everything in check. But in the case of a hackathon, right? What is actually most important is the functional, part of your, part of the design of your presentation. And what do I mean by functional part of it? When you have a presentation, right? Whether it's a pitch presentation or a deck, for instance, your slides, let me call it slides. The structure of the slides has to hit specific points, right? And I can think of 4 things, right? So you have to be able to communicate the problem you're solving and the insights you have, right, as to why you're solving that problem. You also have to be able to communicate the solution, what you're building, how it works, and then whom it's for, right? And then you also have to communicate, why you or your team is in the best position to actually solve this problem, right? I think I actually have a couple of slides to even show you guys. I don't know if I'll have the opportunity to share my screen. Pipe of growth. Am I able to do that quickly?
Yes, you should be able to do that.
Okay, awesome. One moment, guys. Let me just quickly share my screen so we understand what I'm talking about. Please let me know when you can see my screen.
Yeah, I can see it.
Awesome, good. Right. So I already spoke about problems, unique insights, what you're building and for whom. That second part also, you can also include how your solution works. Also talk about why you are uniquely in position to solve this. Also talk about why this is an opportunity for us not to miss, right? You can think of the judges as investors in this case, right? A couple of them, Abid particularly, is an investor. So he's going to be looking at your solution from this perspective, right? So, back to the question, how is design important? Think of design as 2 parts, which ultimately is one, right? It has to be functional in the sense that it has to hit all of it has to check all of these 4 points, right? And then, best case is you have a designer on the team that can make it look really beautiful, right? But naturally, what is most important is you are able to communicate these 4 things I just mentioned here. Yeah.
Okay, great. Makes sense. I think why you were like sharing your screen right now is simple piece structure. That kind of like, wow, hope he's not diving deep into this conversation because that will just answer all of my question I have literally, right? So I think let me just ask the two like there are 2 questions relating together, right? That kind of like link into what you just presented on your screen. So the first one is what are like the key elements that should be included in the hackathon presentation? So that will convince the judges, right? And also anybody in charge of reviewing that particular project in the hackathon. What are various things that should be included in the presentation? And that's one. And also what was the best way to structure a presentation? So Warren, so what are things I should include in the presentation? One, how best can I structure the presentation? What should come first? Should I have my team come first? Should the come first? Just like like a couple of questions that I have for you.
Mm-hmm. That's a great question, actually. As you said, it already links with what I'm trying to share to you guys. So in terms of structure, what you are looking at right now is what is the message your deck is supposed to pass, right? Whatever it is you are doing, if you're going to be using different colors, different fonts, please, it is very important that these 4 things actually is more than 4. If you look at it deeply, your whole presentation captures all of these things, right? Now, in terms of the layout of the slides, right? I also put something together for that. So ideally, this is what your presentation slides are supposed to look like, even in terms of structure. Some of them are a little bit flexible, but then naturally you're going to start with.
We're not seeing your screen. You're not looking at your screen.
Are you serious? Oh my days.
Yeah.
One moment again.
Yes,
HackOps growth.
I'm not allowed to be frivolous.
Yeah, try again.
Okay. All right, good. sharing now. You can see my screen. Good. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank
Yes.
you. Yeah, so your slide structure looks, basically like this. So first thing you want to have on your slide is the title, right? The title being, what you're building, high level, one sentence. So in the context of PipeOps now, you know, simpli simplifying deployments, simplifying, cloud deployments for software developers without cloud expertise, right? Something as simple like that. A one-liner, your one-liner specifically, that's what your title slide should look like. And then if you want to add the name of your team, you can also do that, right? Now, the introduction is also an extension of the title slide. At this point, you may take the liberty to outline what the slide is going to contain, right? But then I don't want us to, pay attention to this, because this slide structure is also something to consider when you are in a pitching environment, right? So after you have your title slide, the introduction is actually you giving like a first um, a highlight or a hint at what you're building, right? So when you're pitching to someone, or when you're on a stage pitching, even more important than your name, right? It is very important for you to say exactly to start with what you're building, right? It could be a one-liner, it could be an extension of that, but then for the sake of of your of your slide, presentation for um, this hackathon, at least this stage of the hackathon, ignore this intro slide. So from your title slide, you go straight to the problem, right? And in the problem slide, what are you talking about, right? The problem you're solving for, and an extension of that can be an extra insight that you've gotten, from research, that somewhat, somewhat validates that problem that you have said. So for instance, PipeOps, the problem basically is, there are not so many software developers um, with adequate cloud experience to be able to manage cloud infrastructure and effectively deploy applications, right? Now, the extra insight for that is, say, over 90% of businesses across the world are struggling with, cloud deployment, right? And this is because only 8% of global tech workers actually have the skill set to help them. So in your context, it would be important to try to attach some numbers into that problem statement, right? And then the next thing would be the solution. And when you're talking about your solution, please, it is very important to also find a way to specify whom you're building it for, right? Once again, if you're building a productivity tool for, say, the travel industry, right? If it's a niche, if it's a niche, solution, you can say it would be important for you to mention what type of user in that travel industry your solution is for. Is it for the travelers? Um, is it for travel agencies, for instance, right? I think you get the point, right? Talk about your solution, what you're building, and who it is for. Very, very important. And then the next thing to talk about would be the market opportunity. You can call this the market opportunity, the total addressable market, whatever the case may be, right? And please pay attention to this. How you go about this slide, there are two ways, right? The first way to go about this is to do some holistic research, holistic as far, you're doing something for the travel industry, for instance. You can just go to Google and search, what is the market cap for the travel industry, say in Africa, I'm sure Google can give you an estimation of some sort, or even if not an estimation for this year, it can give you an estimation over, the next decade or something, right? Some people use that as a market, opportunity or market cap. Some people use that particular number. However, the best way to represent your market opportunity is actually for you to know how many people in the industry you're solving for are going to be using your solution. So, for instance, in building something for the travel industry, specifically for travelers, right? You do some research to find how many travelers are perusing through travel platforms in a year. So if say the number is a range between 10 million to 20 million, right? You can find the average of that, say, or the mean rather, say 15 million travelers. Now, those are the people you are able to sell your solution to, right? That's one thing on the side. And then you multiply that number by how much you're willing to sell your solution to them, or how much they are willing to pay for your solution, right? For starters, at this stage,
Wait,
I don't think you've done enough research for you to know how much your users are willing to purchase your solution, right? So you can work with the assumption of how much you want them to buy it, right? Over time, you will find out the hard way. When people are not paying for your app, you will know to act accordingly and reduce the price. So very important. How we actually want to see you deduce your market opportunity is the total number of people you are able to sell to. It could be in Africa, it could be in Nigeria, it could be across the world. If it's across the world, even better, right? Times how much those users are willing to pay for a solution like yours. Whatever number you get, ideally, it's meant to be over a period of 1 year. So if, for instance, your solution is a monthly subscription, calculate the annual sub and multiply that by the total number of people you can sell to, and then you get your market opportunity. Very simple. We don't really want to see that holistic thing I mentioned earlier. And the reason for that is it doesn't really give us an idea of how many people you are able to sell to. Right now, there's a use case for that particular approach, and that's if you're building something very, very novel, right? That probably hardly has any competitors. There's no solution out there similar to what you're doing, right? Then you can consider, what a holistic, market opportunity can look like. But otherwise, your market opportunity equals the total number of users you are able to sell to in a year times how much they're willing to pay for it. And then the next thing would be your traction. Now, the traction thing in this case, in the case of a hackathon, is very tricky because you are not live yet, right? So how you express your traction is what, in this case, is what you have been able to build out in 5 days now. The hackathon lasts for 5 days. So you just communicate to us how many features or what your application can currently do for users in the 5 days that you started to build out. And then, of course, I put a question mark on team here because when you're pitching your idea, say at a higher level to investors, right? The team part is kind of tricky because you don't want to talk about your team if the team does not have strong experience or a great achievement or something, right? So if you're pitching to investors on a global scale, for instance, I would advise you to not include your team. And the reason for that is, in the instance where, you're just students, you've hardly started your career. Yes, you've built a wonderful product, but then the team does not necessarily add to the value what you're trying to pitch. But then in this context, in the context of what we want to see in the hackathon, please show us your team, right? Show us your team, show us their pictures, let's see their faces, let's see what they do specifically in the team, if they're the designer, if they're the if they're the front end, back end, whatever the case may be, basically, right? Show us your team. Would like to see that. And then if your team fortunately has something interesting beyond themselves, like say one of your teammates happens to be a founder of a solution already, please include that, right? Say if one of your teammates happens to be a graduate of Harvard, for instance, please do that, right? In fact, I don't want to place any hierarchy as to schools, right? But then I think if by yourself you believe your achievement from school, maybe it's your final year project that you built something very, very interesting that you've achieved, or one of your teammates has achieved, you can also include that in the team slide. And then finally, your conclusion. Now, it is very important for you to not leave your conclusion very, very bland. You shouldn't be thank you for listening or thank you for reading. The opportunity for you to optimize your conclusion would be to look at it from the angle of what the future is like, right? So let me use PipeOps, for instance. Now, our conclusion would be around something like this, which is around the future, right? So the future is moving, we are fast moving to a future where all software or most software development workflows is going to be automated or assisted thanks to artificial intelligence, right? And PipeOps is going to make it such that anybody can deploy to the cloud with just a click of a button with artificial intelligence, right? What you want to achieve with this conclusion is, give a glimmer of hope, a glimmer of what this could, of what this could turn out to be in the next 5 years, 3 years, 10 years, right? And it's not a thing of how much you're able to make. It's not a thing of your market opportunity. No, it's a thing of the influence, or the innovation this is going to drive or power in the next couple of years, right? I just give an example of PipeOps. It could be the easy thing to say is to say, oh, in the next 3 years, we're going to be using AI to, achieve XYZ, right? I'm not saying everybody should go and be throwing AI into their conclusion, but just giving a context, right? Give a glimmer of hope, a glimmer of, oh, this could be something wonderful in the future, right? And yeah, I hope we've been able to get some of this points. So it's the title slide, the problem, ignore this intro, ignore the intro. Title slide, the problem, the solution, and the customer, the market opportunity, the traction, your team, and then your conclusion. Yeah. Timothy, you're on mute. Okay.
Oh, okay, awesome. That's great. I think basically that basically covers everything regarding that. I see a question. What do you mean by holistic? I think we'll come back to that. I think I just have like few just I think 2 other questions before we move it back to the archives. I think we have some like hands raised up already. That was like a detailed presentation deck. If you could, I don't know if you would like if you're able to share that slide. So maybe I can put like reference to it if they are building up their own presentation. So maybe you just like, drop like a link to the slide. So I can just like use it to reference back when they are building theirs. So I think the last 2 I have for you, right, is basically what's the best way to arrange this question, right? What advice, tips, Hack, usually love using these three words. Okay, advice, tips, hack. What's that word use again? Trick, exactly. Can you give to like participant of the hackathon for them to excel in both their design and their presentation for the project, for the hackathon project? Like what, since I think this is like the last day. No, tomorrow is the last day, so they have like today and tomorrow for them to just like finish up their stuff. So what quick way do you think they could do to like incorporate best design practices and also restructure their hackathon project and the presentation very fast?
Great question. I think I'm going to share my screen again. HackOps group, please give me access. Thank you.
Yep. You should be able to do that.
Yeah, I'm on it. Okay, one moment. All right, you can see my screen.
Yeah, first we can.
Okay, so I'm going to answer that question from, first of all, from your pitch, your demo video, which ultimately actually is a part of your presentation, right? Now, when you're doing your demo video, please do not make it too long. We are not trying to, yes, don't make it too long. Now, I'm thinking of an ideal number in terms of minutes that should be the length of your videos. I think the worst case scenario is it shouldn't go beyond 5 minutes, right? It shouldn't go beyond 5 minutes. And please, when you start, think of it like a pitch. When you start by giving us a high level of what your solution is, and even if yes, of what your solution is, right? It's not just you talking about the title. It's not you talking about the your one-liner, right? Maybe in like 2-3 sentences, just give us an overview of what your idea is about or your solution is about, and then proceed to doing the demo, right? Everything from sign up to the features you have developed. But please, it shouldn't go beyond 5 minutes. It should not go beyond 5 minutes. There's a lot you can say in 5 minutes. And then moving on to some advice and say best practices of your slide. I think one main, it's very, as I said, I think I've already listed out the structure of the slide, and from that you can deduce that you can infer the obvious, which is one main point per slide. If you're talking about your solution, please let only content about solution be in that slide. If you're doing something on your market opportunity, please don't give us 2 pages, talking about research that you have done, right? 1 page is enough, right? And in your deck, now it's also important to point out that the deck the deck you use when you're presenting on a stage or when you're pitching on a stage is actually different from the deck we are asking you to create for us, for this stage. You can think of this deck as the deck you use on stage versus your investor deck, right? Your investor deck, which is what we're asking of you, right? The difference between a pitch deck and investor deck is a pitch deck has, a lot less information, right? Because when you're pitching, you want people to focus on you who is speaking and not your deck, right? So very, very very little content on each slide, basically. But then in the context of your investor deck, which is what we're asking of you, you have the liberty to add some more content, some more information into your deck. So this does not really apply, right? If is very easy for people, if you're going to be using more illustrations versus words, it's very easy for people to miss the point, right? People have very different ways of understanding, pictures, for instance, right? Of interpreting pictures. So if you're going to be, if I say you should use more illustrations and less words, I'm setting you up for failure. So please, right? Please, very important. You can use illustrations, but very importantly, make sure that whatever information you're trying to pass in that particular slide is not missed in any way. If you think is words that will, pass the message even better or even more effectively, please use words, right? And I'm saying this from experience, right? Even from my pitch deck, not investor deck, pitch deck, I used an illustration that was somewhat complex, and as a result, it did not really pass the message I wanted it to pass, right? And it was like one of the biggest feedback I got, particularly for that slide. I think I was talking about how it works, right? And I was using illustrations, right? I would have been better off just using words that we do X, Y, Z, we do ABC, we do C, D, E, right? Please, I feel like you have to, after you have even drafted your deck, it is important for you to show random people, ask them to go through it if they actually understand everything you're trying to pass, right? That's one way for you to foolproof your deck. So please, if you have illustrations to use, great, but they have to be incredibly functional. They have to work. They have to be easy to understand, right? Otherwise, just use words. Please, just use words. Now, it's very important for you to use large legible fonts. Nothing small. I think you can see what this presentation looks like. I do not use small text. Everybody can see this very clearly, right? And then important text at the top of the slide. Yeah. It's not necessarily talking about the title of that slide, right? If there is a point you want us to pay attention to, before, say, the bullet points or something, it is important for you to explicitly state it there and give us some and give it some hierarchy in terms of design, right? If it's a different color, if it's a bigger font, do that. But then important text should come up at the top of the slide. And then use good contrast, please. Keep it simple, right? Don't over design. If you want to use a black background, as I've done here, make sure the content you're putting on the background is clear. It has good contrast enough that I can see and outline each point you're trying to make, right? Avoid multiple graphs. So maybe in your how-to or in your problem statement, maybe for some reason you have graphs that you want to show. Please don't overwhelm us with many graphs, right? And then this is more on the traction kind of thing, right? If you're talking about how fast you built out features, XYZ, you may want to show a graph of your time of time per feature, right? Which is an extension of your execution speed, right? You may actually want to show a graph of how fast you're able to roll out certain features, but please don't make them cumbersome. Just use one graph that is easy to understand. Once again, stressing this one more time, please. Large legible fonts. And I'm stressing this because if you're using large fonts, or if we're asking you to use large fonts, it means we are saying we don't want to see too much content on a slide, right? Remember I said, yeah, we don't want to see too much content on a slide. So I wish I could just, pull up XD and show you an example of what I don't want to see. Do I have time? I don't think I have time. Okay. So if you have large fonts, right, it basically means you are limited to having too much content in just one slide. This whole slide that you're seeing here. Obviously, if you have smaller text like you have seen, it means you can fill in more information. Please try to find a good balance. Try to find a good balance of information. I think I would actually show you guys yes, I will show you guys what the current type of deck looks like. I think that will give you some context. I think that should give you some context. This call is recorded, so I may not be able to show you most things. So just give me 1 minute. Let me quickly show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to stop sharing and then I'll share again.
So, I think basically that few hands that are up. We'll basically just give me a minute. Okay. So we have to share like the link to the slide, maybe for them to just like follow up. No. Oh, perfect.
No, it's very
Guys,
confidential stuff. Yeah, I can't share that, but let me just quickly show you. Right, if you have to go back to the video to look at these things, fine.
like after the call. So I think that if you just like review. Okay.
1 moment, I'm coming. Can I share my screen? Okay, good. Okay. Please let me know when you can see my screen. Okay, you can see it. All right, so you have the intro deck. Once again, one liner, and then you have which it would be in our best interest to do some research and have numbers that somewhat back or validate our problem statement. So as I said, 95% of businesses struggle with cloud deployment. 8% of global tech workers only have significant experience. And then I went ahead to drop like 2 bullet points. Simple, not too much content once again, right? And then I'm moving on to the problem, to the solution. Remember, so this was actually the illustration I was talking about when I said it was somewhat unclear to some people, right? So imagine I took away. So you guys are developers, so you know what this looks like. This is GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket, and then you have AWS, Google Cloud, Azure. Now, most investors, right, are not technical, right? So this was where the problem came in, right? I was trying to portray that, oh, you can go from code to cloud in minutes, right? And I was throwing logos that they did not know, right? So the solution was just to, add something like, oh, from apps to cloud ultimately, right? So I think this gave context as to what I was trying to talk about. Now, emphasis on not much content, right? Please, we don't want to see story. Don't give us story. It is a red flag, honestly. It's a red flag. And then the next thing, I went further to in your use case, maybe this is like a how it works, right? I went further to like highlight the 3 things HackOps makes easy for software developers, which is server creation, deploying your entire stack, and then giving you the observability to be able to monitor. And then the next thing is our market opportunity. Remember what I said about calculating your total addressable market. We have 22 million, non-cloud developers times an annual subscription of $168. That gives us this huge number here, basically, right? Moving on, competitive landscape. You don't need to add competitive landscape, right? It's not necessarily a slide we're looking for, but then it is good to have it because it gives us extra context as to the industry you're building in, right? It can show us, oh, compared to your competitors, what are you doing differently, basically, right? So you can see, our pillars here, basically, ease of use, affordability, scale, scalability. If you want to use a tabular format to show your competitive landscape, that too is fine. And then your business model is basically talking about how you make money, right? Some of you may not have figured out yet. That is fine. At this stage, we are not looking out for that. All right. How to make money is not our priority. It's going to be a thing if you get to the final stage, right? So if you have figured it out and you want to add it, right? But then it's not something we're looking out for. Moving on, so I have traction here. I'm just going to skip that. What's coming to PipeOps? You can see this as some form of conclusion, but then I'll show you what the ideal conclusion looks like. And then the next slide is our team. Talking about myself, my co-founders, our advisors, and then the conclusion, which is AI-assisted application deployment plus AI-assisted deployment, right? And then I went further to state that with AI PipeOps, we allow anyone deploy to the cloud with just a click of a button, right? So high level, this is what we want your slides to look like. This is what we want your slides to look like. It's not important for you to talk about your business model at this stage. If you have figured it out, excellent, even good, but it's not something we're looking out for. So yes, I think I was able to pass the message, including because it gives us a better perspective of what the industry currently is like. What can we compare your innovative idea to? So yes, I think that's all, Timothy. Thank you.
Great. I'm going to mute myself. Oh, perfect. I think that covers everything. Let's just like spend the next couple of minutes answering questions from the chat and also from Anne's raise. Let me just kind of like circle back into various questions in the chats. Okay, I think they're answering some already. Wow, I think every question on the chat has been answered by someone on the chat already. So I think we just be like, there are like 2 answers up. We just go with answering those 2. Hi, Rashid.
Hi Timothy, good afternoon. Thank you so much for this session. I'm a designer, so like I think so far this is the most amazing, you know, webinar we've had that I really enjoyed. I mean, the others are good, but this was so much insightful, and I'm glad I joined this because I already made a pitch, but now I'm like redoing everything up and also adding some other, insight into. So my question is, I'm gonna give you like an instance so that you give me more clarity. Because like you talk about market opportunity, right? I understand that very clearly. Because let's say, for instance, we want to charge somebody $10 a year our product, and then we have like 10,000 users. So multiply by that, that's gonna be like our the money we'll be making. And in Naira, I'm thinking like 140 million a year. I mean, that looks cool, and I'm happy about that. So now, traction, all right? You were going through your slide, and then when you get to that traction, which is the thing that I didn't get, the way you break it down about how long it took us to like launch some features, the timeline, right? Using graph and everything. So I don't know if maybe you just show it, or maybe you could explain it to me like a baby, because you said okay, like a features, right? We have like 5 features that we pushed, and then you were like how long it took us to push that feature. But I don't know, I still don't get it. Like, how am I gonna put it on the
Yes.
slide?
Hmm. Okay. So remember I said the traction thing ideally, right? Traction is when you actually have actual traction, right? You launch your solution, but maybe not launch, but then it's already since you went live, say in the last 4 weeks, right? About 100 people downloaded your app or something like that. That's wonderful traction. That's very good traction. But then you're just building out. It's not in the hands of anybody yet, right? As far as I know. If that is the case, if that's the case, it will bring some question as to the authenticity of you saying you built something in 5 days. How were you able to get it into the hands of 100 people, right? So I would not say you should talk about that, but then what makes sense for you to talk about is um, how long it took you to build out what you currently have, right? And a better way to express that is for you to break it down into the features you're built out. So your current MVP has, let's say, 5 features, as you've said. Um, how long did it take you to build out feature A? If it's hours, excellent. Now I'm saying this because a lot of the people who are going to be reviewing your work are technical people, are software developers with years of experience, right? So if you say um, it took you say 30 minutes to implement a full user sign up, that includes signing up with uh, Google, Facebook, the WhatsApp, whatever the case may be, right? If that is faster than the usual, that's excellent. It's a point for you. It means you're good at executing. Your execution is on point, right? Which is why I stress that a good way to use that traction slide would be to talk about how long it took you to build out features. If you are not tracking that, maybe you should start tracking that, because it just helps to bring some credibility to your team, or expose some competence rather to your team, right? So I did not show you our slide, our traction slide, because it is completely different from what you guys should be worried about. Our traction slide contains information about how many deployments have been made on the platform since we went live, how many users we currently have, how many businesses are using PipeOps, and how much we are currently making, right? So yes, that's why I didn't bother to show you that part, because it hardly concerns you. You're not making any money yet. You hardly have any user. You don't have any user. Um, there's no traction in that sense, right? But then good traction is how fast were you able to build out what you currently have. Is that clear?
Okay.
Very
Yes,
good,
yes,
Rashid.
yes,
Good,
it
good,
is.
good.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Awesome. Thank you.
Great. Hi, Henry. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, sir. Good afternoon,
Yeah,
sir.
definitely.
Yes. So it's my pleasure to be here on the call today, and even though this is not my first hackathon, like these are some key points that is very, very useful in presentation of slides and all. So I'm really happy to actually meet up with the team at PipeOps because I knew PipeOps before the hackathon, so it's like a great progression for me with them. So my question basically is now, as you have pointed, sir, the presentation slides and the are different from the normal ones that you pitch on stage to investors or you have on stage where you can just quickly explain true stuffs. But now you are sending this to the judges. Can you just give us a picture of how the orientation will look like? Like, is it better as a landscape or something like more of a portrait kind of thing? I don't know if you can explain that, sir.
Okay, quick question. Are you asking what the deck for an on-set pitch looks like, or what the deck for, what we're sending to the judges should look like?
Okay, sir. What I actually mean is, for example, now some I've been in a situation whereby the investors don't want something like the normal presentation slides. They just want like a project brief. That's like what I can call it, something close to a project brief, where it's like a PDF, the normal A4
Okay,
format,
okay,
and
okay.
you can see all the functions and all the. In fact, that uses less illustrations and is more holistic. So, will you
Mm.
rather prefer that approach to a normal one like the one you showed us now, where you have just few texts tells what the product does? I don't know which one
Okay,
will be
so
better.
yeah, I think what you're asking may be something similar to like an executive summary of your solution, right? No, we don't want something like that. We want it to be um, we want it to look like what I've shown you. As you said, I think you called it landscape, right? Not portrait in form of a PDF. Even if you may be exporting as a PDF, it should be landscape, and you should target specific points as I've listed: your title, your problem statement, your solution, and your user, your market, all of those things in the different slides. I hope that helps, Harry.
Okay, one answer. I think that should end the question section. Hi, Adedara.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Awesome.
Hi,
Yeah, hello, good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here. My question is mainly with regards to the criteria that I found on the terms and conditions page. I saw that it was listed. I have like two questions actually, but the first one is that it was listed as 10 deployment. The team is supposed to have 10 deployments per day. So I want to ask, for those that their deployments aren't counting, is there going to be a problem? And also, um, will there be a link provided for a submission of projects that on the final day? So those are my,
On the
my
day.
my my two questions for now.
Okay. Okay. Good. I think the the form thing is not going to be on the final day, which is tomorrow. It's going to be on Wednesday, right? Okay. We're going to share it on Tuesday, right? The deadline to finish your submission would be on Wednesday, right? Probably around 12 p.m. On Wednesday. So it would probably be open from 12 p.m. on Tuesday to 12 p.m. Wednesday. So 24 hours for you to send in all your work. If it's going to be different, we're going to communicate that accordingly. So just be on the lookout for our comms team. And then for your first question as per the 10 commits, I think you're looking at it from a leaderboard kind of thing. On the platform, on HackOps itself, we can already how many commits are coming from individuals in a team, right? Or from teams, let me put it that way, right? So it's not, I think up until now, the engineering team had to, do an upgrade of the leaderboard experience, right? So I am confident right now that if you push, it's going to reflect eventually, but outside of the leaderboard, we know we are able to track, how many deployments your team has made. So
Okay.
no worries about that.
Also, I saw on the criteria it said that each team member must have the same project deployed on their title page. So I want to ask, how exactly do we go about that? Do we share the same GitHub repository? Because I was thinking, okay, that would mean
We lost you a bit there. But then to answer, the question though, what we expect is for you to share the same repository. So every member on the team has to deploy exactly pretty simple, fork the repo on each member repo and deploy into your own personal accounts. If you have three teammates, they are going to fork the repo and then deploy an instance of the project on their PipeOps. So ultimately, when somebody does like a push, right, to the branch, it reflects across board.
Okay. Pipe-ups. I want to give more clarification.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, okay.
Yep. So yeah, just to add a little bit to what someone has said, yes, that is correct. We've had a couple of teams that brought up some unique what shall I say, scenarios, right, where you have multiple members in your team doing different things and having some resource constraints also, right? So for a situation where you have your what's it called? You have your front end on one person's account, so you have your back end on another person's account. It's fine. We know the people that are in a team, right? So what we are looking at is as a team, do you have a minimum of 10 deployments in a day, right? So in a case where you're working from just one repo, then it makes sense to do that. But in a case where you're working with multiple repos where you have your front end on one repo, you have your back end on another repo, it's fine for you to do that what's it called, on separate accounts, right? So what I would say that you should focus on is ensuring that as a team or each account that is part of a team has at least 10 deployments. So whether you do the joint thing or you do individually. So you just want to ensure that, and you just want to ensure that if you have two members on a team, each of those accounts can record 10 deployments each, if that makes sense. Right. I mean, this call is going to be recorded. I can see the person that asked the question saying his PC died, so you can always go back to listen to that because of time. But yes, that basically clears that out.
Okay, great. Okay, awesome. I think we have like new hands that are raised. Let's see if we can take some of these questions before like moving to we've got like two other things to do from the folks from Anambra and also, from the top three teams at leaderboard. So okay, I think it's a cup. I think your hands have been raised for quite a time now. You can just unmute yourself and ask a question.
Okay, good afternoon, or is it evening already? Good afternoon. Sorry, can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so my question is two, but let me first start with that of the deck, the pitch deck. Like, are you saying that, say, in a case whereby I have a proposed solution, and then the proposed solution that I'm trying to do, I need to explain all those key points in full details. Are you saying that I can't like split the page into two, like divide a slide into two, and then like those solutions side by side? I don't know if I can share you my screen so you can. That's not possible.
That's a great question, actually. Yeah, that's a great question. It's possible. It's possible, but it is very important for you to be very concise, right? If you're going to be extending into, say, a second slide to pass the same message, so maybe you are on solutions and maybe you want to have, or maybe you need to have a solution continued, kind of thing. You can do that, but it's very important for you to be concise, right? Concise as well. Don't give us your life history. Don't give us history notes on those two slides, please. Right? If you have to extend it, but then just make sure that it's because you're saying, it's because you're trying to not say too much on one slide, so you're extending into the next slide. I think that works. Yeah.
Okay, and again, you said something about like not adding two what's it called? Is it two topics in one slide? Let's say the proposed solution and then how it works in one slide. Are you saying, let's say in a case whereby the proposed solution it's something very small, and then the how it works is also something very small. Are you saying I can't split the page into two and then put the two side by side?
Yeah, please, no, please don't. If you're going to talk about leave a slide for a particular topic, as you've said, or subject. So if it's going to be you talking about the problem statement, let that slide be about the problem statement. If there is need for an extension of that problem statement into the next slide, fine, but don't put problem statement and solution in one slide.
Okay. And then regarding this, what is it called? This leaderboard of a thing. I don't know if someone can explain how it works to me, how they are calculating that, what's it called, the deployment stuff. Because right from the start, I was part of those that were leading before, and all of a sudden, I realized that I was being dropped down to zero, and I've been monitored that leaderboard back to back. Like I've been tracking my progress, trying to see what's happening. Is it moving up? But I've been noticing that the leaderboard, my name is just like kind of misbehaving. It will move to 200 and something. Before you know it will drop to 300 and something. Before you know it will drop to 400 and something. And then the deployment, it will count one. Before you know it will drop to zero. Before it's just like kind of misbehaving and stuff like that. And I've been monitored that in back to back. I even tried to chat a couple of people, but they are not giving me like the explanation I need. So is that someone that can explain how the leaderboard thing works, how they are counting the deployment and stuff? Because right from the beginning, quite all right, I understand how the calculation work, but the second update they did to that thing is kind of, I don't really know the word to actually use to see that, but I don't know if someone can
Okay,
just
so
explain.
I'm thinking
Yeah,
if I really wants to answer that now, or
yeah, I can, I
maybe
can, I can take that. I can take that now.
okay.
So what I'm going to say to that is the second update that was pushed was to ensure that what is being counted are unique commits, right? Just to be clear, right? What we expect is commits that trigger a deployment. That's what we are counting, right? So that might also be something you want to check on your end. But what I would just say is, like Samuel said previously, if you're sure that your your commits are actually triggering deployments, and your project is being updated, then you don't have any problems with that, right? We on our end, right, we'll try as much as possible to make sure that the leaderboard reflects, even after the hackathon, we'll try as much as possible to make sure that the leaderboard reflects your entire activities during the hackathon, right? But it's also good to, I think this is all would also be a good time to mention that the leaderboard is not a criteria, right? The judging criteria is on our hackathon page, right? So the leaderboard is not a judging criteria, neither is it a requirement, right? Like I said initially, it's just something that we've for developers to actually share their activities during this hackathon, right? Just so you can let people know how much you are working, just so you can see what other teams are doing and all of that, right? So while we would definitely look into this that you've said, because that is definitely not a typical behavior, um, I can just say you don't be too bothered about that, right? As long as you're sure that you're during a deployment and your project is being updated, you don't have any issues.
So that's great. I think basically we can just take one more question. And I think the rest one we just like go add them on Slack. We don't really have time, so we want other people to like to go back to building and just working on a presentation. We still have like other I think two stuff to do. We still have to hear from the folks from Anambra and also hear from the top three teams at the leaderboard. So I think I can just take a question from John, and everyone could just like go ask a question on Slack. Hi, John.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Can you hear me? That's nice presentation. I have little. I want some few clarity on some stuff I'm not clear with. Number one is the number of commit and number of deployment. Like for me now, throughout last week, I have been busy with work. I do not have the time to actually work on the hackathon. So I started on Saturday. So Saturday, I started my commit, and currently I've not made any deployment. All my commit and the stuff is still working on my. I'm still on my local, so I intend to push everything when I'm almost done to like 80 to 90%. So hearing the number of deployment and commit now gives me concern to raise the question for clarity on that. How would that count against me? And if it will, what should be the way forward from here? Is my question clear?
Yes, Samuel, do you want me to take
Yes,
that?
yes. Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay. I mean, John, I want to believe we're very clear with the requirements, right from registrations, right? So what I can just say to that, like I said initially, our goal here is not to eliminate people, right? Our goal here is not to penalize people, but like Samuel had mentioned, we also want to preserve the experience of the hackathon and ensure that the projects that are being submitted, to a degree of certainty, we can confirm that this is projects that were actually built during this hackathon. I mean, we have a bunch of people on the call that have dedicated time. We've seen a couple people tweet that they were not sleeping and stuff like that, right? So we want to be as fair as possible to just ensure that people that are actually giving time to this and projects that would eventually win or projects that would eventually be part of the finalists are actually people that engaged the hackathon and participated. So what I would say to that is, I mean, you started on Saturday. As much as possible, we've communicated this, that we don't have any restrictions or requirements as to the size of the commits that you have to make or how large a change it must be, right? We just want to be able to know that you're actively working on your project, right? So I mean, you still have time. You have the whole of today, you have the whole of tomorrow. I would just say that try to put in some work and try to work towards those numbers, and um eventually, I mean, like I said, we are open to being somewhat flexible with that criteria, right? But it's just important that you understand why this is even a thing in the first place. Thank you.
Okay. I think that covers everything. And I did want to just like continue with with the Anambra folks.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can. If you, I need you to officially say you're giving me the mic, please, because you came and took the mic from me. But yes, can the team from Anambra confirm that they can hear us now? Python NG Anambra, can you hear us? Okay, so for the sake of time, I think we can just move on. I mean, we just wanted to, because these are guys that, are at their location physically, we wanted to see if we could, have a very brief chat, but if we're not able to do that today, it's fine. So yeah, team, back to you. I think we can just go. The last thing on the agenda for today is to have a brief chat with some of the teams that are currently topping the leaderboard, just to hear their experience. Let's know what they're building as fast as possible. So if we have representatives from those teams, I think it would be nice if you just signify so that I can unmute your mic, say signifying the chat or something. I think we have team ISIS currently topping. So please, if you are on the call representing any of the teams that are in the top three, team ISIS, okay, we'll call her. I'm going to bring you up now, just so we can have a quick chat. Oh no, sorry. Let me
Hi.
let's go with you. Let's go with you at the end, right? Let's go with you at the end. So do we have Team Eagle Labs? I believe. Do we have Team Eagle Labs? Quickly. Fortune, is that you? Okay, awesome. I will unmute you now so we can quickly talk. You should be able to unmute yourself now. Hello, can you hear me? Can anybody hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, awesome.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, hi. Good afternoon. Well done. Well done to you. Well done to the team. So yeah, do you want to quickly give us like a brief, I don't know, what are you building? What is Team Eagle Square up to? What has the what has the experience been like working as a team, developing your solution and all of that? Just
Okay.
quick
All right. I
rundown.
don't know. Am I to turn on my camera?
Yes, yeah, that
Okay.
yeah. Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Okay. So my name is Fortune.
Yeah.
Technical Lab. We are okay. So far, our experience so far has been really interesting, especially considering the fact that I'm working on the front end and my teammate is working on the back end. And so there has had to be some adapting. Design, ethic is just very, very weird. I tend to be very colorful and all of that. So there's been a lot of shouting behind the scenes. There's a lot of arguments. There's been a lot of that, like a whole lot. But somehow we always find a way to like have common ground. So far, we are building from Nigeria. This is Nigeria, Lagos, Nigeria.
Oh,
So yeah, so just a little bit on why we're Technical Labs. We are Covenant University graduates. I graduated 2022. He graduated 2023 engineering. I studied computer science. He studied electrical engineering. And so, yeah, that's why we're Technical Labs. So we're working on a productivity tool for the educational sector. And so far, it's been going well. So using the HackOps platform has been very, very interesting. I think that's like what we need to talk about now. We've had so many errors, obviously, like build issues, deployment issues, especially a lot of deployment issues, right? But thankfully, the support team has been very, very like quick. Like when I message them or when I the support, or maybe I go to the Slack channel and request for help, it's always very quick, always very prompt, always very accurate. Like it always works. So that has been interesting. I just love that there's always help standby. And then I just have to say I like that when I deploy. I was telling him, his name is Joseph. I told him I like that whenever we deploy, we always see that deployment successful. That I just like it. It just makes me feel happy.
Makes you feel like you've done something.
All right. So yeah, that's it. Our experience has been very good. We're very pumped.
Yeah.
Been so interesting. Like, we're going strong. Obviously, we're going for the first. So yeah, thanks.
Awesome. Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you for
Quick
chatting.
question, where are you based?
Nigeria, Lagos.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Nice work.
Thank you.
Yep. I think we have. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce the name of your team, so I'm just gonna unmute you. Chukwu Ebuka.
Okay.
What is
Good
that?
afternoon, everyone. Yeah, so the team is pronounced Uplazing.
Okay.
Uplazing. Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about Appleazing, what you're doing. How has the hackathon experience been for you? Is this your first hackathon? I think that's something that might be interesting to know. But yeah, let's do that quickly.
Okay, so yes, this is actually my
Turn on your
first.
camera, please. Come on.
Okay. Right. I think because of them, I won't, because I'm actually not
Yeah, that's fine.
wearing the shirt. So
That's fine.
I don't know if I should still do that.
Please don't.
Okay, so our team at Appleasing, so I am the front end developer and also the product designer.
Okay.
And we have a product manager on our team. Okay, and we also have a backend developer. So what we are building is a finance personal assistant. So the application is going to help you manage your finances, right? So it helps individuals as well as organizations manage their finances effectively using AI. So that's pretty much it about our application.
Nice.
Yeah, more information will come subsequently. Also, the hackathon experience has been awesome, really. Deploying on PipeOps has been easy. I mean, you can compare it to the likes of, global brands like Vessel. So it has been easy. The user interface is smooth. So you don't even really need to have any serious devs or experience to use it. So I really commend the team for that. Yeah, so we are currently trying to make as many, edits and changes to our app as possible, and also gather all the things that we need for submission. Then also to get abreast with, to get everyone on the team familiar with the pipe ops tool, so that whenever we want to submit, everyone can, be able to submit from the same repo. So that's just what we are doing. But so far, the hackathon experience has been daunting, but we hope that we are going to, progress. And yeah.
Yep, awesome. Thank you for giving us that summary. Wishing you all the best. So lastly, let's speak with Team ISIS. Bukola, I'm unmuting your mic now.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Please tell me you're wearing a shirt. Please tell me you're wearing a shirt.
Yes, I am.
Awesome.
Hi. My name is Bukola Olapade. Team ISIS. So first, I want to appreciate the PipeOps team for putting this together. Really a nice initiative and nice products they are building. My team and I are made up of two people. That's myself and my partner Esther. We're located in Ibadan, from the University of Ibadan. We're both students. We are mathematics students in the University of Ibadan. Um, okay, so let me quickly give something to what ISIS. So ISIS, the word can be a bit confusing, especially with the various meanings. But the ISIS that we're trying to point to in our team name is more of the goddess, Egyptian goddess of life and magic, and that kind of points to what we are building, a product around medicine and data, and it's just something that enhances productivity in the healthcare sector. Um, Electronic health records related. I don't want to give all the details because
Yeah, that's fine.
we are not there yet. So electronic health records related, and it's really nice putting together. As per experience with deploying on PipeOps, it has really been nice. I myself am a product designer and front end developer, and my partner is a data scientist. Um, Personally, I do not have, well, I will not say front end developer as a major part. I'm majorly a product designer, but for cases like this, I do just basic front ends to patch things here and there. And it has been really easy to work with PipeOps. I mean, as somebody that is not very, very familiar with DevOps tools like this, and that's been really easy and really smooth to work with PipeOps. The only time I had a problem was this morning. My deploys stopped working. I mean, I was deploying on GitHub. I'm deploying straight from GitHub, and then it just stopped syncing for a while. But it got fixed before I got on this call. So
Awesome.
I want to say kudos to the team. I want to say nice.
Trust me, it's
nice.
not just the guys that are participating in the hackathon that are having sleepless nights. Trust me when I say that. The engineering team over here at PipeOps are also having sleepless nights just to ensure that everybody has a good experience and we can attend to as many people as possible. So yeah, well done, good job. I mean, you're currently topping. You need to understand that because you're on top there, everybody is trying to get you down. So let's see how you guys can hold up till the last day. So yeah, that would be all for now, just because of time. Would have been nice to hear from a couple more people and hear what they're building, but we don't want to keep you guys for too long. I must also add that aside the leaderboard, the most important thing for the second phase are the judges. We have very experienced judges across industries that will be checking what you've built. So you know, yeah, we're rooting for you guys, and yeah, happy to see what you're building. So yeah, that'll be Timothy. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. I think there's one thing remaining for you. Wow. So
Yeah, yeah,
this one
sorry.
now, it's,
Eh,
not working for me. Why is it not working for me?
I don't know. Timothy, I don't know. I don't know.
Well,
Yeah, but do we have the team from Anambra now? Can you unmute your mic now? I can see you on the call, but I'm not sure you can hear us. Okay. Hello, can you hear me?
I think the hands haven't raised.
Yes, they're currently unmuted. I don't know if it's syncing properly. I think you're having
Just use Medium to, like, share more light on the feedback form thing.
Yes, okay. Thank you for reminding me. So while we wait for Python entry from Anambra State, we've been doing a couple community activities all through the hackathon, and some have been somewhat masked, right? Because we really want to know the people that are actively participating and actively engaging, right? So some of the community activities that we've been tracking has been masked, but we will be sending over a survey form today. So partly because we really take feedback seriously at HackOps, and we really want to understand your experience and understand. We have a couple questions I would like to ask you, but I mean, for you guys that are on the call, I mean, I can just let you know that would also be one of the points that you can earn towards the Public Builder Award. That is also something that we think is quite interesting. Trying to encourage developers and encourage builders to really talk about what they're building and engage the community as they build, right? So please look out for that. I've seen a couple people asking for the invite link to our Slack channel. An email was sent earlier today. So if you check that email, you would see there is a link, there's an invite link to the Slack channel. So that should be fine. And no, Python and Anambra, we can't hear you. No, we cannot hear you, unfortunately.
Try to leave and join back.
Yeah, I can see them in the chats, but we cannot hear you. If you could quickly, try to reconnect, that might maybe fix things. But I really want us to let people get back to their projects as fast as possible. So yeah, be on the lookout. We would share the feedback form via emails, on Slack also. So please be on the lookout for that and please submit that. We would also, like Samuel said, would open submissions tomorrow by noon, and we'll leave it open to Wednesday, I think. Wednesday, yeah. Yep. We'll leave it open to Wednesday, so you have time to, tie all loose ends and all of that. Python and Anambra is back on the call. Let me see if they can hear us. Okay.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear
Can
you.
you hear me now?
Yes, we
Okay.
can.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone.
Hi, good afternoon.
My name is Martin Smadreke, and I'm calling from Python Anambra. And I'm on that team Fusion.
Okay, my team, we are currently facing a challenge at the moment because we've been making commits, and once we deploy our site on PyPub, we are seeing that the deployment is successful. But I think my web server, my application server, I think there is a problem in communication. I sent a message using intercom. I
Okay.
think someone responded to that message, and he said I should check my Docker file. I checked the Docker file and image, and everything there is working properly because even on my local server, it's working perfectly. But I don't know when it gets to PyPub, I begin to see 503 server error. I don't know what could be the issue.
I mean, I know a bunch of people have also had that issue and they've gotten it fixed. So I mean, to really understand what's specifically happening for you, I mean, Intercom would be the best place. So maybe you just want to send another message just so that whoever was attending to you can pick that up. But right now, I was hoping that we would be able to talk to, I mean, the guys over there. Probably turn on your camera so we can see what the setup looks like. Have a short conversation about the community and wrap this up. Can we do that? Do you think we can do that? Hello, are you there? Yes.
Sorry for the poor camera quality.
What is happening?
Thank you.
It's freezing.
All right, let someone try to join me. Let me try to. Do you have the link? Let me try to join you.
Yeah, I don't think this.
I think you're trying to say I, but I'm not sure. It's not but like
Okay, I can see some of us now.
Yes, we can. I was hoping you could just give us like a short brief as to what the community is about. I mean, you have the Python community over there, so if you could just say for a minute or two what you guys are about, so that we can wrap this up.
Okay, so hello everyone.
Hi,
Good afternoon.
good afternoon.
Yeah, so my name is Fechuku and I'm the co-lead for Python Anambra, right? So we have like up to 8 teams that are participating in this PyPops HackOps, but most of them are not here. People prefer to work at home, and we hope that tomorrow we'll have a lot of people around. So the community is all about people that code with Python language and some every other language, right? We are not just limited to Python programming languages, but it's just that we explore every aspect of Python in Python and Anambra, and I think that's what Python Nigeria is all about.
Yeah.
But then we are still going to every other developer and techie and designers, product managers, and all of them. So it's a full house tech community where we all come together and we build, we do things. So I think we have Team Fusion here, Team Spark, and Team Lumen. What's your team? Lumen. Okay. So yeah, we just have like 3 teams here working with us for now. I want to say thank you to Piper for sponsoring the lights, the internet, and the space. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
We're grateful.
Yep. Yep. Thank you guys for making the space available also. Yes, so that. So that's the thing for us. Fortunately, we're not able to get a lot more species across. Maybe I could just do that. Yep. Unfortunately, we're not able to get a lot more of these species across other regions, right? But yeah, to the places that we code, it's great to see that we have people that are utilizing those spaces. So yeah, That's my cue done. Timothy, send me my scorecard at the end of. I'll send you my invoice. You send me my scorecard at the end of the call. But yeah, that'll be all from me.
No worries, no worries. Thank you very much for hosting with me today. I'm ready to see that you helped in hosting with me today. Looking forward to doing this more with you, right?
Nope.
Maybe. But yeah, thank you everyone for for jumping on our office hour today, and also asking your questions to be able to answer most of them. If you have any other question, please do it ask them on Slack. The team is there on Slack. If you have any issues with with what you're building, best way to do that just go through Intercom, and keep on building. And we hope by tomorrow we'll start seeing your submissions. Thank you once again, and yeah, shout out to our speaker, Mr. Samuel C. at Pipers for taking our time from his busy schedule to to join us and just share from his wealth of experience regarding design and also presentation. I really appreciate him for spending this time with us, and also you guys for joining us. So see you all on Slack, and also looking forward to every submission you guys and ladies will be bringing in on. Bye everyone.